The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Exploring the Unknown with Rebecca and Shay. Taking stories from today's news, Rebecca and Shay will explore everything from the paranormal, supernatural, the strange and unusual, unsolved mysteries, and more. Join them as they delve deep into the unknown and mysterious. Taken from news headlines. Water cooler chat with a paranormal twist. Only on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Shay?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Hanging out with the cat and dog and...
Well, I'm trying to. My one cat's decided the dog is his enemy number one, and I've been trying to keep the dog off the cat.
Oh.
And it's a job, and it's... I don't know.
I got like 2 weeks left with Katie before she goes back to school. They are doing public school, so she will be going back. Can't believe she's going to be a junior in college.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
Sneaks up on you.
I mean, obviously, she's not going to be a junior until September, August, but it's crazy.
It really is. Yeah, it's one of those things you don't think is going. They're in grade school forever, and then the next thing you know, they're a junior in college. It's like, how'd this happen?
Yeah. And my beautiful oldest daughter, as you know, graduated college last month.
Yes, that's really exciting.
It is. It really is. So, okay, let's see. So today we're going to do this story in two parts. This is part one.
Yeah, because this one is kind of long, and we thought we'd break it down a little bit, so to spread the joy out further.
Yes.
So this article is on Insider.com, and it's called The History Behind 40 of the Most Haunted Places in America. Article was published October 14th of 2020. There's a haunted spot to be found in every state. But which are the most haunted in America? We found 40 places in the United States that are known for their paranormal activity. They range from hotels to lighthouses to former prisons. The stories behind why ghosts lurk in these spots are fascinating and often gruesome tales. Keep scrolling for an interesting history and a good scare.
I'm curious to see. We've done a top 20 before. So I want to see the crossover. How many of those 20? Not that I can remember what was on the top 20, but...
Yeah. I think it's interesting to see what makes their top list. Like, sometimes there's overlap, and every once in a while they'll throw in one you've never heard of before, and you're like, okay, that sounds neat.
Yeah, that's a lot for me, because I'm not up on all across the U.S., so...
This one you'll know, though, Shay.
I've been here.
During its heyday, Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was one of the most expensive and well-known prisons in the world. Built in 1829, the prison housed big-name criminals like Al Capone and bank robbers Slick Willie. Up until overcrowding became a problem in 1913, prisoners were kept in complete solitude at all times. Even when prisoners left their cells, a guard would cover their heads so they couldn't see and no one could see them. That's kind of weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Very weird.
Today, the Decaying Penitentiary offers ghost tours and a museum. Shadowy figures, laughter, and footsteps have all been reported as paranormal activity within the prison walls. You've been there, huh, Shay?
Yeah, and this was on the top 20 because I remember talking about it. Al Capone's cell was, oh my God, you would have thought it was a luxury hotel. I said it last time.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures, and it looks, like a luxury hotel.
Yeah. So, and we did get some interesting stuff happen. So
cool.
Yeah.
Built in the late 1700s, the King's Tavern is one of the oldest buildings in Mississippi. Built in the late 1700s in Natchez, the King's Tavern is one of the oldest buildings in the state. The restaurant and bar have a rich and somewhat disturbing history. A man named Richard King bought the building years after it was constructed. The story goes that he hired a young girl named Madeline to be waitress and then had an affair with her. When King's wife found out, she had the girl killed. It's said that Madeline's spirit now haunts the tavern. Then, in the 1930s, 3 mummified bodies were found in the tavern's chimney. Some say these are the bodies of those murdered by the Harper brothers, who are often referred to as America's first serial killers. The Harper brothers were known customers at the restaurant. Today, visitors to the restaurant report heat coming from the fireplace even when it's not lit, shadowy figures, doors shutting inexplicably, and noises that sound like a crying baby.
Not only have I never heard of this location, I know more about serial killers than I do the paranormal. And
yeah,
these brothers don't sound familiar to me, so now I'm going to have to check them out too.
Oh, I've heard of the brothers.
Yeah.
I've heard of the brothers. That part I've heard of. I want to know how they got heat from the fireplace. Because I'm just saying, we can make money off that.
Right?
That's a new one on me. I've never heard of heat coming from a ghost. Usually it's cold, but...
And if it was the serial killing brothers that did not own the place, they were just customers, how did they get them in the chimney?
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing.
Maybe they borrowed Santa's sleigh.
Maybe. This next one we've all heard of. Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, was built by the widow of a famous gun manufacturer. Sarah Winchester commissioned the building of her mysterious home in 1886 after her husband, gun magnate William Wirt Winchester, died of tuberculosis, and her infant daughter died shortly after. She was told by a medium that she would forever be haunted by the ghosts of those killed with Winchester rifles. So many believe that Sarah Winchester then built the home in the 1880s to confuse and trap the spirits that haunted her. Historian Janin Boheim told Insider that the 38-year renovation was Winchester's passion project. Sarah used the money she inherited from her husband's death to employ 16 carpenters who worked 24 hours a day until her death in 1922, resulting in a bizarre house that at its peak had a total of 200 rooms, 10,000 windows, and 2,000 trapdoors, regular doors, and spy holes. And also has staircases leading to ceilings, windows leading to secret passages, and doors opening into walls.
Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure, and I'm already Googling it.
Yeah.
So, hold on, I think they misspoke in this article, so I just want to...
I wondered about one of the things they said.
Yeah, hold on, yeah, well, I'm trying to see when the husband died. Because I'm pretty sure the daughter died first.
I thought the daughter died first, too.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's... Alright, here we go. So, I like this story. We've talked about it before, but this article does misspeak. Because the infant daughter died in 1866 first, and then her husband died, I believe, in 1881, 20 years later. They never had any other children. So before we discussed it, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and I don't believe that they've ever actually confirmed that she was trying to confuse ghosts. They've never really verified exactly why she built this home the way she did. But.
Yeah, the best guess that I get is the most reported on was that she had to please the ghost by never. She wasn't trying to confuse them. She just couldn't stop construction to appease them.
Right.
So.
It's a neat place. I'd like to go one day. But.
I've never been, but like I told you before, last time we talked about this, I've been to their graves in Connecticut. Yeah. So
it should be really cool as well. So
yeah, and we weren't there to even investigate anything to do with them. It was another thing we were investigating, and we went by there, and some crazy stuff happened. So That's interesting.
This next one is for sale.
Yeah, this one's been for sale like 15 million times. I never see it sell, though.
I was going to say, I don't know. The rumor has it they're asking $2 million for it. I don't know that they're going to get that, but more power to them.
Right? I'm from Mass. I've never been here.
Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast in Fall River, Massachusetts was the site of a grisly murder. Now, a museum and a bed and breakfast, the Lizzie Borden House, was the scene of the gruesome murders of Andrew and Abby Borden, who were found in 1892 covered in blood and beaten to death with an axe. Lizzie, the Borden's daughter, was the prime suspect in the case. The charges against Lizzie were later dropped due to lack of physical evidence, and no one else was ever charged with the murders. The case remains unsolved. Today, guests can stay in the room where Abby was killed. According to employees and visitors, the home is full of paranormal activity, such as an apparition in Victorian clothing and sounds of weeping, doors opening and closing, footsteps, and conversations in empty rooms.
I could be wrong, but wasn't she acquitted?
Yes.
This says they dropped the charges, so...
Oh, well... Okay, so maybe this article isn't entirely factually correct.
Yeah. So...
It's our second mistake we found.
Yeah, and that's just off the top of our heads.
Right?
I just want to double check.
No, I'm sure you're right. She was acquitted. I guess maybe that, in their mind, maybe that means they dropped the charges? I don't know.
Well, then, they definitely didn't go to law school.
Right?
Yeah, she was acquitted. I asked my friend Google.
Google is our friend.
Yep.
I've never heard of this one either.
Me neither.
So, a woman in a purple dress is said to haunt the women's bathroom of the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Depot in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now home to Utah State Historical Society, the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Depot was built by George Gould for the Rio Grande Western Railroad and was a travel hub in the early 1900s. A woman in a purple dress haunts the women's bathroom of the Rio Grande Cafe. According to Haunted Houses, this woman was hit by a train after her fiancé threw her engagement ring into the tracks during a fight. The ghost of George Gould is also said to make an appearance on the balcony and in the lobby.
Interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Never heard of this, though.
No, I hadn't heard of this one. That one.
Yeah.
This next one I have.
Oh, yes, we all have.
Yes. St. Augustine Lighthouse. It's Florida's first lighthouse and the city's oldest surviving brick structure, and it's said to be haunted. The tower's lens is the original lens that was installed during the 1870s. Besides being known for its rich history, the lighthouse is also known for the ghosts that haunt it. It's believed that multiple tragic events that occurred in or near the lighthouse are the cause for the site's paranormal activity. There's the story of the lighthouse keeper who fell and died while painting the tower, and the story of 3 children who were playing in a cart near the tower which broke and fell into the ocean, causing them to drown. Visitors claim they've seen the keeper's ghost watching the grounds and hear the sounds of children playing nearby.
Oh.
That was an episode of Ghost Hunters that was really, really good.
Oh, yeah, they saw the shadow or whatever leaning over the top.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. In the stairwell, the round stairwell?
Yeah. In the stairwell. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was an awesome that one.
That was a good one.
I think this next one was on Ghost Hunters, too.
I think this one's been on many shows.
Yeah. Known as one of America's most haunted homes, the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, started as a working mansion during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. The plantation is an extravagant example of the grandeur that characterized plantations during that time period. The French chandelier in the mansion's foyer is a baccarat crystal and weighs over 300 pounds. Today, the home is a bed and breakfast. Rumor has it that the house was built on top of a former burial ground, and throughout the years, there have been numerous ghost sightings, most well-known being Chloe, a former slave at the plantation. The legends that surround Chloe vary, but most say she poisoned the plantation owner's 2 children, and was then hanged by her fellow slaves. Chloe is said to have appeared as an apparition in a photograph taken by the plantation's proprietress in 1992. I think there's a lot more legends around that one, but...
There is. There's tons. And now I question everything I'm reading in this article.
Yeah, I know, because I heard a lot, and I know I watched the Ghost Hunters episode, but I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio offers ghost hunting classes and a tour led by a former prisoner. It's a beautiful architecture and crumbling prison cells. Ohio State Reformatory saw plenty of violence during the 94 years the prison was in operation. The Reformatory opened in 1896, hoping to be a place where juveniles were made into better people. In 1990, the federal order that closed the prison cited brutalizing and inhumane conditions. One of the most violent incidents that occurred at the prison was the kidnapping and killing of an employee's wife and daughter, which was carried out by two parolees in 1948. Just 2 years later, the warden's wife was shot dead by a gun that fell on the floor as she was picking up a jewelry case. Years later, the warden himself died of a heart attack in his office. One inmate reportedly killed his cellmate and then stuffed his body under a bunk. Tour guides and visitors alike can say that they still hear the warden and his wife having conversations.
Now, I could be wrong, but this is where Shawshank Redemption. Oh my God. What is it?
Yeah, I believe that is where Shawshank was filmed.
Yes, thank you.
I'm surprised they didn't mention that in the article.
Yeah. That's
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of this one too. The Lorie Mansion in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes.
Said to be haunted by ghosts of victims.
I've heard of it only because you and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
So.
The Lorie Mansion is named after its owner, Madame Delphine Lorie. After Lorie's third husband left her and returned to France, rumors started circulating that she went crazy and started torturing the slaves who lived and worked in her mansion. The first incident that raised concern occurred in 1833 when a female slave fell from a window and died. A year later, there was a fire at the mansion that caused police to come across the mutilated bodies of multiple slaves in the attic. It was believed that Lorie tortured her slaves in grotesque ways, drilling holes in their heads, breaking their bones, or removing their intestines. The public stormed the mansion after they heard about the story, but Lorie was never held responsible. Instead, she escaped to France, where she's thought to have died years later. But the ghosts of her victims are said to have remained in the mansion. Victors claim that they can still hear their screams. Or visitors. Why did I say victors? I don't know.
Wow, sounds like a Jeffrey Dahmer type.
Yeah, I thought she was into the voodoo stuff.
I thought so too.
I thought she was really into the voodoo.
Well, maybe if this article gets enough things wrong, people will tell us.
Maybe. I've heard of this one too. Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia.
I might get to go here.
Yeah?
It's, coronavirus and everything.
I know.
There's a chance though. I've been invited, so.
Oh, that would be really cool to go see.
Yeah.
Originally built as a place of healing, the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum welcomed its first patients in 1864. The building, which was the largest hand-cut stone masonry building in North America, was built to house 250 people. At its peak in 1950, the asylum was home to 2,400 patients, many of whom endured lobotomies and electroshock therapy. Mental health reforms and the building's poor condition caused the asylum to close in 1994. However, many patients died during the facility's 130 functioning years. Some are believed to haunt the building's halls, which is why the asylum attracts visitors and ghost hunters.
Yeah, that's all those places back in the day.
Yeah. Well, 1994. I'm sorry, I'm old. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, really.
No. Laconia in my area, same thing. Horrible. Horrible.
We've come a long ways in mental health. Just say that.
We have. Not far enough, but we definitely have made a lot of progress. Lots and lots.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Guests say the ship RMS Queen Mary is haunted by the ghosts of those who died on board. The RMS Queen Mary has had many lives. The ship made its maiden voyage in 1936 and carried many a Hollywood celebrity, from Clark Gable to Elizabeth Taylor and Audrey Hepburn. In years to come, those on board got quite the experience. 2 bars and swimming pools, 5 dining areas and lounges, a grand ballroom, squash court, and small hospital. In 1939, the ocean liner was turned into a troop ship for World War II and named the Grey Ghost. In 1947, the ship resumed its original role and hosted passengers for another 20 years until docking in Long Beach, California, on Halloween in 1967. During its time, the Queen Mary saw numerous deaths. A young sailor was crushed by an engine room door, a crew member was murdered in cabin B340, and several children were drowned in the ship's pools. The Queen Mary is now a working hotel, one that guests continually say is home to the ghosts of those who died on board. The engine room is a big tourist attraction thanks to its destination as a hotbed of paranormal activity.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Because I don't know if it made it into the episode last time we talked about this. I think it was the top 20. I was like, wasn't it made of cement? And then you totally ignored me, probably on purpose. And I was like, wait, did I just friggin' say cement? I don't think a ship's made of cement.
I don't think it's made of cement.
No, but it took me a couple minutes. I'm not sure if it made it in that one or if it's being saved for the bloopers, but I probably left it in, knowing me.
Well, it should be the blooper reel, if nothing else.
Yeah. Have you been here?
No, I have not been there, but I've seen it a lot of times on shows. It's one that makes a lot of shows.
Yes. I've done one battleship, in Quincy, Massachusetts, and it's such a sight to see.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I saw whichever one is in Boston Harbor.
Yeah.
That one.
That's Quincy, that's USS Salem.
Is it? Yeah, that one was really cool.
Yeah, that's where I've been. So, it's where I got my only picture of something that might be paranormal. Remember the head behind the ladder with the shoulders?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I say might be paranormal because I can't explain it, so.
Right.
But, yeah.
I don't know if I've heard of this one. Dock Street Theater in Charleston, South Carolina. It's one of the oldest theaters in America. After a brief stint as the Planters Inn when a fire burned down the original theater, the Dock Street Theater was restored to its true purpose in the 1930s. One of the most famous ghostly inhabitants is Nettie Dickerson, a prostitute who was said to have been struck by lightning while standing on the balcony. Some visitors have reported seeing her running amok on the second floor in a red gown.
I've never heard of that one.
No, maybe that's why the building broke down if it got struck by lightning. No.
Maybe.
Huh. I don't know about this one.
I don't know.
Monty Vista in Flagstaff, Arizona, which opened in 1927, has a plethora of hotel guests who just never left.
It does look familiar. The picture looks familiar, but the name doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching one about a hotel out west, but I thought it was mainly abandoned. I don't know. Monte Vista's most well-known ghost story is that of room 305. This room is thought to have been occupied by an old woman who was a long-term renter and used to sit in a rocking chair near the window for hours. Today, guests as well as staff see the rocking chair rocking on its own. Some have even seen the old lady sitting in it. Other paranormal activity includes the sound of a screaming infant that comes from the hotel's basement and sends housekeepers running, a phantom bellboy who knocks on doors and announces room service, and the ghosts of 2 prostitutes who in the early 1940s were killed in room 306 and then thrown from the window. The most bizarre is the meat man, a long-term guest and found raw meat from the chandelier in his room. His body was discovered in his room 3 days after he had been killed. Huh.
Hold on.
Sounds like a lot of activity.
It does. It really does. I'm surprised we don't know about it.
Yeah, I kind of am too. I don't know about this one either. The Ponset Bridge in Greenville, South Carolina.
Nope.
It's rumored to be home to multiple ghosts. Looks really cool. Besides bearing the distinction of South Carolina's oldest bridge, Ponset is also believed by many to be a particularly spooky spot. The bridge was built completely out of stone in 1820. There's the story of the mason who died while building the bridge. His body is said to be entombed inside of it. Then there's the man who died here in a car accident in the 50s, and a slave who was lynched near the bridge. Well, boy, that was real short.
Yeah.
Information really short. Like, okay, lots of stuff happened here. Lord Baltimore Hotel in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm there now. Okay.
And there have been some strange occurrences on the 19th floor of the Lord Baltimore Hotel in Baltimore, Maryland. Lord Baltimore Hotel's long history in the city has earned it a spot in the National Register of Historic Places. Designed by William Lee Stoddard, it was the largest hotel in the state of Maryland when it opened its doors in 1928. Guests have reported feeling invisible hands touch them in the elevators, but the 19th floor is said to be particularly haunted. The elevators go to the 19th floor when no one has pressed a button to send them there. And according to some, the ghost of a little girl who is said to have died by suicide in the hotel frequents its halls.
Did it say how many floors it had, or no?
It didn't, just that the 19th is particularly haunted.
Well, I know a lot of hotels that are large, which 19 floors is. Elevators are, or can be, stopped somewhere in between. Like, so they're not at the bottom, not at the top.
Oh.
Do you know? Like, so it's like a less of a wait if nobody's on it.
Yeah, or it's kind of like midway in case somebody pushes the button.
That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. See, you're my brain. I'm the mouth. You're the brain behind this operation.
I don't know. I don't know about all that, but...
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. Have you been to that hotel, Shay?
No.
I don't think I heard of that one.
I've been to Maryland, but no. Maybe next time I go back.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be summer of 2021.
It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. I liked Baltimore when we were there. It was nice, but we didn't stay in a hotel, so... The Pittock Mansion in Portland, Oregon was built in 1914. Henry Pittock, which I hope I'm saying that name right. I don't know.
It looks good.
Yeah, close enough. Was the owner and publisher of the Oregonian, sheesh.
I think you have it.
And newspaper. Well, his wife, Georgiana, was the founder and fundraiser of multiple charities. The couple built their stately mansion in 1914 and moved in that same year with 8 other family members. Henry and Georgiana didn't live in the house long, though. Georgiana died in 1918 and Henry died a year later. The family stayed in the mansion and continued to own it until 1958. The home is now owned by the city of Portland and is open to visitors. Those who have stopped by the mansion have reported some puzzling occurrences. Some say they smell flowers. Georgiana was an avid gardener in rooms that have none, and others say a childhood painting of Henry moves around in the house on its own. Again, another one I've never heard of, but it looks kind of neat.
I haven't either. What do you think about those types of perfume smells or smoke smells?
I mean, I've definitely smelled some here at the farm that I know they couldn't have. Although some will say that the wood stores the smell and then the heat will bring it out. But Brennan smelled heat out at the farm, smelled cinnamon at the farm the other night, and it wasn't cold out at all. I mean, it was cold. It was not hot.
I get you.
You know what I'm trying to say.
I get you.
So yeah, I've definitely smelled things, and I think it's definitely something that happens. But again, sometimes it's hard to prove. It's hard to do the scientific analysis on it. So.
It is hard to prove. But if it happens in the same place every single time, smell the wood. Just scratch down deep enough, and it should be able to.
Right.
If it's different areas, that's a little different, unless it's the whole house. But paintings moving on their own, that's a whole different.
Yeah, paintings moving on their own, that's a whole different thing.
Yep, it definitely is. Okay, so I think on that note, that is a wrap on part 1, and we're going to pick up next week on part 2.
Yeah, this is a neat list. There's some new ones on here I hadn't heard of, and some old favorites too.
Yes, definitely going to have to. How do you say this nicely? Check. See, me being nice is.
Where are the Facebook fact checkers?
There we go. Yes, thank you. I was trying to say it nicely.
It should contains partly true information.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, if you guys picked up anything wrong in these articles that we did not, post it in our Facebook group.
Yeah, because I'm sure we probably missed something, especially on the ones we didn't know about.
Yeah, definitely. And we're still waiting for that story, guys. Send us that story.
For sure. So you can always talk to us on the Facebook group, Exploring the Unknown with Rebecca and Shay podcast.
I'm not making fun of you this time.
I was waiting. Like, did I do it right that time?
No, but that's okay. They get the... Wait, I'm telling you. Yeah, but then I try to say it and I'm wrong. I say it wrong. I only know it's wrong when you say it. So I get you.
Well, anyway, find us somewhere.
Yes, we are on there. It's the only one. Just look us up. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it, whether you're listening today or if you're listening to us after the fact. We really appreciate it, and we make a lot of jokes, but we do appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.